Welcome to the podcast from the St. Louis Sportists, an occasionally smart, always irreverent look at sports in St. Louis and beyond. And now, your St. Louis Sportists.
Hello and welcome to the podcast from the St. Louis Sportists. My name is Ron Cook, and I am joined by Joe Sperlin.
Hey, glad to be here. Good to see everybody.
Tom Mathis.
Great to see everybody again.
And from deep in the heart of Texas, April Sechting.
Feeling a little like Jarrett Stidham right now, so I can only say be kind. Be here.
And cheers to all, since Keith is not here.
Keith is on assignment. Doug is on assignment. Both of them have what we'll call very valid reasons for being on assignment. So Godspeed, gentlemen. In this edition, it's our second annual Super Bowl preview, unlike any other. Also, St. Louis is set to be an Olympic city once again. The Brendan Donnovan trade finally happens and brings the Cardinals 5 players in return. The Billikens in Illinois continue special seasons, and Mizzou continues to live on the edge. The St. Louis Sportists are brought to you by First Coast Steel Buildings. Jason and his team will take your project from design to completion with a family-first approach. Learn more at stcoaststeel.com, and we'll hear more from them and Sandra Templeoff later in the show. And tonight's last call is brought to you by Black Dog Consulting, LLC, here to help the one-truck owner and the small fleet owner to grow and prosper. Contact Dave at 417-217-9622. Black Dog Consulting, helping you retrieve bigger profits. Folks, if you have a chance to leave a review, a thumbs up, anything where you get your podcasts, it really helps us out. We're on X, we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, Blue Sky, and Joe Sperlin. 1 week in, your tracksuit is on the way.
Right.
We'll all have matching tracksuits. We're on TikTok, folks.
What? Okay. I like it.
That's what you get for missing meetings, April. By the way, your husband is following us.
He is. Yeah. I mean, that's all I can say. He values the integrity of this podcast, whether his wife knows it or not. He values the integrity. It's for sure.
Yeah. So we're going to lead it off with quick hits, and typically I go to Joe, but we had some news so big today, Tom. I'm going to lead it off because it's been everywhere you look.
Yes, it has.
St. Louis is going to be an Olympic city again. Just incredible excitement all around town today. The Olympics are coming to St. Louis in 2028. Energizer Park met what they called international standards and will host group play in soccer in 2028. Joe and I were talking before we went on. The way they're going to do the soccer is they're going to have the pool play starting on the East Coast, and it will move geographically toward Los Angeles and the West Coast, which kind of makes sense if you think about it. But there's definitely going to be a stop at Energizer Park, although it's not going to be called Energizer Park. It's going to be called St. Louis Stadium. It's very similar to what they're doing with the World Cup this year, because April Arrowhead / Gia Field is not going to be, it's just going to be Kansas City Stadium for the World Cup this year. So same thing for the Olympics.
They might as well start that steep decline to 2030. All I'm going to say about that right now.
Yeah. That's all we're going to say about that.
Yeah, we haven't got to talk about that yet. If you are interested in tickets, it's just like any other event in the Olympics. You go tickets.la28.org. And Tom, this was not news I expected when we woke up this morning.
No, I was pretty shocked by it. I mean, it's great news coming up, and it's really the last thing I expected. But, I mean, it's awesome to hear.
Yeah, and Joe, we knew that they were doing the softball in Oklahoma City. We kind of talked about that, Oklahoma City was going to be an Olympic city, but hey, here we go.
Hey, and we kind of laughed about it, but now it's like, oh, hey, now we get it, why that's going on. Yeah.
Now it's cool.
Yeah.
And that's a lesson on being kind. Let the karma just come right back around.
Yeah.
Well, wait, now it's real.
There you go, folks. We're less than 5 minutes into this episode, and we already have our first thought on kindness. Joe Sperlin, what do you have?
Speaking of the Olympics, the Winter Olympics opening is Friday. So it's kind of, I know NBC is excited about trying to do that in the Super Bowl, but this is crazy what happened 4 days ago. Lindsey Vonn, 41-year-old Lindsey Vonn, crashed and completely ruptured her ACL, a bone bruise, and a meniscus damage. As she said, oh, those other things happen when you rupture your ACL. Well, after 3 days of PT and slapping a brace on that dude, he is planning on skiing Sunday. Now, don't forget, she has a partial titanium implant on her right knee. So Sunday, instead of watching the 6 hours of pregame Super Bowl stuff, I will be watching the downhill because I'm going to guess they go, and I've seen not Olympic downhill, but some supposedly competition downhill, and they may ski a little faster than I did because I feel like I'm going 60 or 70 miles an hour, and I was probably clocked going about 12.
You're snow plowing and
Oh yeah, and I thought that was plenty fast. So these hills that are straight down and they're going 60 or 70 miles an hour is unbelievable to me.
Yeah, it's insane.
With 2 bad knees.
Yeah,
with 2 bad knees. And then let's go back to our soccer. Let's tie it all together. And you think about those guys that roll around and like grab their ankle like they've been shot by a sniper when someone accidentally clips their ankle.
Yeah. So, I mean, she competes Sunday, but Thursday, I think she has her first practice run on this. So, yeah, I like it. It's ruptured all that. And let's just slap a brace on it. 3 days of PT brace and I can go. So, my gosh.
I have a theory. I think they're gonna inject it full of Bondo, and if she does, no, like hear me out. If she does crash, she's not gonna ruin her knee. She's just gonna like everywhere. They're gonna fix that thing so she can do her thing. She's either gonna win or it is gonna be an epic, catastrophic failure of everything.
That's not a bad theory at all.
She's competing in that, and then I think there's 2 other events. They're going to wait and see how well it goes, and she may compete in 2 other events.
I want her to rock it.
Crazy.
It's
crazy.
She's a titan. She's a titan.
Hey, and I don't want to cause any problems, and I hope Lindsey Vonn's not one of our over 2,500 listeners, but she's no spring chicken.
She's 41.
She's 41.
Yeah. Yeah. By the way, 2,600 now, Joe.
Saying right now, but yes, you look good.
Oh dear, didn't see that one coming. Tom, help us.
So I just found out today that there is a new series coming out on Prime Video. It's going to premiere on February 12th, and it's called Soul Power, The Legend of the ABA.
Oh,
yes!
And if any basketball fans from the 70s and 80s, the ABA was a precursor of the 70s and 80s NBA. I mean, it was just amazing. Great talent, just fun promotions that they did to try to get people in the stands. And the quality competition was pretty good. So if anybody gets a chance, I know I'm excited for it. Get a chance, pick it up, watch it. There's also, I'm going to plug a book while we're at it. Loose Balls by Terry Pluto. The History of the ABA is one of my favorite books of all times. And just if you love history of basketball, I gave it to a young guy at work last year. And I said, here, read this. And he loved it. So I can't recommend that highly enough.
Yeah, that's fantastic. They made an HBO documentary based on that, but nothing like what Prime's getting ready to do. And the Spirits of St. Louis, of course, had a very young play-by-play announcer, Tom.
Bob Costas.
Bob Costas' very first job, and
straight out of Syracuse.
He had all the hair. And St. Louis had a player named Marvin Barnes out of Providence, incredibly talented player. Sports Illustrated once said Marvin Barnes had trouble on court, off court, and in court. And the best story. Now there were so many Marvin stories. Tom, the one where they played the Nets, he has this like triple double basically, and then they've got a game the next night, and they're getting ready to take the court, and there's absolutely no sign of Marvin. And so they're like trying to figure out what they're going to do. The coach is there, and they said they had giant swinging doors in the back of the locker room, kind of like a kitchen. And they said, like, about 1 minute before they were supposed, his nickname was Game Time, Marvin Game Time Barnes. They said that about a minute before he walks through and he has on his Spirits uniform, but he has on a full-length leather coat. And they say he stands there and kind of parts the coat like a Superman cape and says, "Game time is on time." And it turns out he'd had a fantastically entertaining evening in New York the night before. He found out he missed the plane, so he got a guy to charter a plane to where they were. I think it was Virginia, off the top of my head, Tom. And they said that during the first time out, he's standing over there on the bench with his checkbook talking to the pilot saying, "Now, who do I make this out to?"
let me throw my favorite Marvin Barnes story out there. That the Spirits had played in Louisville, and they were getting ready to head back to St. Louis, and the plane loaded was going to depart Louisville at like 6:45 Eastern time, but it's going to arrive back in St. Louis at 6:30 p.m. St. Louis time because of the time change. And Marvin's like, "I'm not getting on no time machine." And they had to talk him down to get him to get on that flight.
But they pretty much had to get the hand puppets out, as I heard from the stories. Yeah.
Hey, and the St. Louis owners of that time are still getting paid by the NBA. Is that correct?
They are or just recently stopped.
Okay.
Yeah. That was one of the great sports. April, instead of they offered all of the ABA guys that didn't go into the NBA a choice of either a one-time payment or a percentage of the TV contracts in perpetuity.
Wow.
And it was like 2%. I mean,
yeah. And the St. Louis guys were the only ones that took that. And they made all this money until they invested it with this nice guy in New York named Bernie Madoff. And
yeah.
And that was what basically led the NBA to saying, "Okay, we're going to help you and you're going to help us and we're going to bring this to an end."
That's amazing. Yeah. Wow. And all with the Prime documentary and a book and all things. Amazing.
Yeah. The NBA was great.
Ms. Sechting, what do you have?
Well, speaking of Taylor Swift, which of course no one was before me.
Like, did I miss something?
What happened? Yeah. No. So I know that it's technically Super Bowl 60. I've been trying to make it Super Bowl meh, but I can't make the Roman numerals with that. I have not been less invested in a Super Bowl since I was 4 years old. And that is not a lie. However, the interwebs are speculating on something that is dragging me back in, and that is some of Taylor Swift's Easter eggs. We know, and this actually works with Easter eggs. Bad Bunny, of course, is the named halftime show, but people are speculating on the interwebs that Taylor Swift may make an appearance.
Oh.
Yeah, I know, right? Like what? Like who? Bring it on, right? Levi's Stadium, 49ers play there. What's their mascot? Anybody?
It's like a prospector dude.
Sourdough Sam. Taylor Swift talks about sourdough a lot. Recently, she's been heard talking about the fact She is spending 60, Joe's gone, percent of her time thinking about sourdough. It is Super Bowl what? 60. Here we go. So round and round, there is speculation among the, I'm going to call them harmless cranks of conspiracy theory, that are suspecting that Taylor Swift may make an appearance. And since she won't be distracting her fiance because he's going to be watching it from the same place we are on our couches, then I think it's worth considering. So that is my quick take, gentlemen.
So if you had to place a shiny penny bet on this, what would you say? Do you think we're going to see her or not?
I mean, I love a good conspiracy. My tinfoil hat's out of reach, or I'd put it on right now. But I don't think so. I think she is an artist's artist. Without going down that rat hole, I think she has too much respect for Benito as a performer to steal any thunder, unless there's something that is like pre-planned around that whole like core performance. So I don't think, but I like the speculation. It's fun. It keeps me
heck yeah.
in the Seattle people are playing the criminals from the other coast. I don't even know what's happening.
Yeah.
Who's to engage?
Well, speaking of not engaging, Tom, I had that Mizzou Mississippi State game on Saturday, and I saw Mizzou had a big lead, and I kind of disengaged, got into my MacBook working a little bit, and then I look up, and then, holy cow, it's a 4-point game. Maddening Mizzou strikes again.
They have that stretch every single game, maybe every single half, where they can't score and they can't stop anybody, and it's just so frustrating. I mean, the talent. I mean, they have the talent, but they just can't put it together. I mean, to me, you give the ball to Mark Mitchell every other possession, make sure he gets a good shot, and at least you could be able to score. But I don't know. They're taking threes from Sykeston again, and missing them. So they're maddening. That's all it is.
The last thing you want to see is a 4-point game in Mizzou shooting free throws. I think that was my response when Ron was like, "They're going to end up giving this away," and I'm like, "Free throws." Yeah, but they made them.
Shockingly,
yeah, that's the only thing that saved them.
Shockingly, Joe, they're 15-7, 5-4 in the SEC. They are being shown as one of the first 4 or first 8 out. Can they really afford to lose more than 1 or 2 more games?
No, I don't think they can either. They can't get to 10 or 11 or 12 losses unless they make a huge run in the SEC tournament, and you don't see that happening.
April, did they ever do the thing with you where you had to make like a number of free throws before you could go home after practice?
I believe this is a setup, and I'm going to answer it anyway. Yes, absolutely. In high school, there were times that not only in practice we had to make a set amount of free throws, but after an away game, if there was a particularly dismal free throw percentage, once we arrived back at our home gym, we had to dress back out in gym clothes and then make free throws to the satisfaction of the head coach before we were allowed to go home.
April, let me tell you, nowadays there's zero chance of that ever happening.
No, because that'd be on the news.
It would take one phone call, and it'd be, no, you can't do that anymore.
Because cell phones. Yeah, that could be a whole other podcast. But yes, I have been shamed about the free throws and yes, all of those things.
Well, and Tom, I think if they did that to Mizzou, they would never leave. You'd still see people in the gym shooting days later.
They are student athletes. They do have to go to class, so
that's true.
They have to be out there all the time.
That would be the our artificial barrier, I guess. On screen 2 here, Davidson is ahead of SLU 23-17, but SLU is currently 19th in the country, 21-1. 9-10 in the Atlantic 10 Conference. Tom, a virus is going around the clubhouse, it sounds like.
Yeah, apparently even some players were sick Friday's game when they played Dayton here, and so they were a little shorthanded then. Um, they might be a little shorthanded. Everybody was playing tonight, but that doesn't mean that they feeling 100%. But that atmosphere Friday night was amazing. The just the great game was great, but the atmosphere was incredible.
Yeah, Joe, I never thought I would see $600 tickets and $137 get-in at SLU games.
Oh, when you said that, I was like, wow. But hey, that's what happens with
Yep.
a winner. I mean, that's they're hot. I mean, like right now they're only got 17 points. So when you're averaging 90, over 90, you're sitting there going, it's just be patient and matter of time before they start scoring here in a little bit.
Yep.
Yeah, is it Tom? Is it 5 or 6 guys averaging double figures per game? It's something crazy like that.
Yeah, I think it's 6
Yeah.
starters and maybe Kellen Thing. So, I mean, I've said it from the beginning of the year, they're deep, and they got a lot of guys who can score.
I heard my first Josh Schertz rumor this week, and that is Oklahoma. That might be, if they do move on from Porter Moser, that might be an SEC place where you could win.
The thing about Schertz is he had a chance last year to go to Louisville,
Yeah.
and he chose St. Louis. I think to him it's more about the fit, than it is about the big, the large school. I think he's happy here. I don't know if you guys saw the videos, but after Friday's game, he went to Humphreys, which is the university bar, and was behind the bar doing shots with the fans, and he was having fun. And I think he thinks that he can build something here, and I kind of agree. I mean, he's a good coach, very good coach, and players like playing for him. And I think SLU can scrape up some money to keep him here and keep the players here.
Anybody who'll get behind the bar at the student bar and like engage with the fans like that, then yeah, they got my vote.
There you go. And we close out our college basketball with probably the most impressive team, the Fighting Illini, now up to number 5, 19-3, 10-1 in the Big 18, as Keith likes to call it. 2 road wins against top 10 teams in the last 2 weeks, and a very impressive win, Joe Sperlin, against those Nebraska Cornhuskers.
Those Huskers, yeah, that was a good win. But they talk about this time of year of having veteran team, and Illinois has some veteran players. So, yeah, I think playing on the road and getting into this time of year, it's hard to win on the road, and it's a long season. And I always think there's teams that we're in the tournament. It doesn't really matter if we're seeded second or third in the conference tournament. And I think teams lose focus a lot of times. But Illinois right now is probably playing probably one of the better teams.
Yeah, these are Tom, these are kind of the dog days here a little bit. You're not quite to March Madness, but you got some important games.
Yeah, I mean, you got some the conference matchups. I mean, you're going to have a few, top 10 matchups coming down, and I'm sure Illinois and Michigan to play in the coming weeks. That'll be a good one, some fun ones. So, the conference season's not always a sexy matchup, but they're good matchups. So it's good basketball to watch.
Indeed, and when you're not watching basketball this Sunday, Joe, you can join 213 million other American adults and watch Super Bowl 60, which, again, 213 people is the projected audience. There are 330 million people in the United States of America, so that'll give you an idea of the cultural impact. Tom, are you going to be one of those 213, or are you going to join the other subset?
You're going to have to wait till my last call, Ron.
Okay.
Hey, Ron, I wanted to bring this up before we left there. We talked about bracketology, and I just wanted to. You talk about the prices at St. Louis. Bracketology has number 2 seed Illinois playing in St. Louis and number 7 seed St. Louis playing in St. Louis. Now, they're not in the same region, but hey, talk about prices skyrocketing on that. It would be like trying to buy a Super Bowl ticket.
They are already speculating on that. They seem to think that Illinois is almost a mortal lock to come to St. Louis. They don't know that St. Louis, as they said, will earn basically a home game in the NCAA tournament.
So
yeah, because you got to think they'll probably be a 7 or 8 seed. So I don't know if they'll be able to play here,
but they weren't in the same region because the other 2 seed, I can't remember who it was, but anyway, sorry to get that off, but I wanted to mention that a little bit. Hey, the Super Bowl, here's I'll be watching it, and Ron, I would probably be in the social room with Dr. Captain's social room because I will not be sitting there glued. I'll be watching it, but I'll also be looking for clever comments on the X as it's going on. So I'm going to be a social deal. So
you might be asked to explain something like a safety at some point too.
Yeah.
Well,
why are they kicking off from the 20?
Yeah.
Well, it's offensive, but yes. Okay. I hear you. So might I be asked to explain things like that.
That's true. April, Chris Collinsworth on the Super Bowl. How do you feel about that?
I would like to pass.
April, I'm going to look this up and I will text this to you, but I'm pretty sure I saw a prop bet of how many times Chris Collinsworth will mention either Patrick Mahomes or the Kansas City Chiefs. And I wanted to say it was both of them were like 2.5, that he will say the Chiefs and or Mahomes during the Super Bowl.
Which is 4 too many in my opinion. They're not in the big game. Let's focus on the 2 people who are. I can't tell you who that is because I won't. But yes, I think it's not about them. And I agree with you. I think that's probably very likely. Yeah. We're having 2 people over that are in the like marketing, communications, PR world. We will be actively watching the ads and muting the game, and not just because of Collinsworth, but not because.
But also because.
And then we mentioned Bad Bunny at halftime. The Athletic got the idea to survey a selection of NFL players. 58% were positive on it, 41% were not. One NFC player said, "I do not like it. I'd prefer anyone who's synonymous with football and football culture." Another NFC player said, "I think it's pretty awesome. Some of his music is really good, man. When I was training, I heard it in Florida all the time, and it's a bop, man." So,
Ron, I would like to say this. I am so glad that Bad Bunny is doing it because it's giving everyone in America to realize that Puerto Rico is actually part of the United States.
How many get these sailed? That amazing, Joe. Yes.
It is interesting how we learn things sometimes. And folks, we've reached the halfway point of the St. Louis Sports Podcast. When we come back, what you've all been waiting for, Blue Horseshoe's Corner, we'll take a look at Super Bowl prop bets. Yes, there are prop bets. We'll also talk about Brendan Donnovan, not Donovan Osborne from last week, leaving town. And the St. Louis Blues give up a game last night that, well, we could probably all see coming. All this and more when we come back.
Are you in the market for a barn dominium, house, garage, man cave, carport, or hobby shop? Wondering how to get started or where to go? Whatever you are looking to design, look no further than First Coast Steel Buildings. Give Jason and his team a call at 912-314-4848. They will guide you through the process, designing your building to fit your specific needs and budget. Call them today at 912-314-4848 or get inspirational ideas and start designing your own by visiting them at firstcoaststeel.com. Again, that's the number 1, coaststeel.com. Their low-cost buildings are fully galvanized steel, providing you with worry-free, low-maintenance requirements, integrity, quality, and a family-first approach. First Coast Steel Buildings, 912-314-4848 or firstcoaststeel.com. Discounts for military and first responders.
We are back on the St. Louis Sportist Podcast. It's a Super Bowl preview, like no other, 2.0. My name is Ron Cook, joined by Joe Sperlin, Tom Mathis, and April Sechting. Joe Sperlin, the time is here. Blue Horseshoe's Corner. It's the prop bet / Super Bowl extravaganza. This is where I just get out of the way and turn it over to you.
Hey, this is where you can do this at your own little Super Bowl gathering, and you can make these. You can look online. There's all kinds of fun ones, all kinds of maybe not as many people now that the chefs aren't in it, but you can still have some fun with these picks on looking online. So we got a couple first of all, and the number is Seattle is favored by 4.5, and the total is 45.5. So the person to score the first touchdown, the favorite right now is Kenneth Walker III. Okay. Any other thoughts that anybody would like to say? I would like to wager on this person to score the first touchdown, not the first point. So it can't be a kicker or anything. Now, and I'll help you guys if I say anything like Kenneth Walker is plus 340. That means if you were to wager $100 on this, but you would not do that because this is strictly for entertainment purposes, you would bet $100 to win 340. Or $10 to win 34, or $1 to win $3.40. Once again, a lot of math in there. So
yeah, Joe, I'm gonna stay true to my LSU roots and take Kayshon Boutte.
Kayshon is plus 2,000. Ron.
Well, there you go.
You can retire.
That would be a couple pair of shoes for April.
Yeah,
easy killer.
Oh, Ron, come on now.
So bad.
They also have Kenneth Walker III, since he is the only healthy, really running back for Seattle. Ron, over 70.5 rushing yards.
Nope, under.
I'm with you. I'm saying under. And by the way, I'm going to go with Walker on scoring the first touchdown. And then you get into the passing yardage is another common one. Sam Darnold, over or under 228.5?
Over.
Over?
Over. I think they might find themselves in a more competitive game later.
I think so too. As I always like to say, life is too short to bet the under. And then Drake May is 220.5.
Also over. I see
Over.
this as higher scoring than they think.
Okay.
What about the fact that defenses got these teams into the Super Bowl?
That is true.
Correct.
That is true.
But 2 weeks to prepare.
You know, and like I say, they normally the first quarter is kind of a low scoring one because they are well prepared and the nervousness, and we're not going to make a mistake and get us in hole. So,
yeah.
Who is the MVP? Now, I will say this. Out of the previous 59 Super Bowls, 34 of them have been quarterbacks.
Yeah, I'm going to go back to one of the darkest days of my sports fandom, Tom. That was the day. I'll never forget this. The Rams were playing the Patriots, and I was driving the night before, and I heard, and they said, it was an NFL expert, and he said of the 22 players on each side, offense, defense, if you were to pick the best from each team, you would pick 19 Rams.
Yep, that's right.
And that was the moment that I let myself feel good about the fact, hey, the Rams might win 2 Super Bowls in 3 years, and we know how that turned out.
Yeah.
So that was a heavily favored NFC West team versus a allegedly undermanned Patriot team, which I see history repeating itself. And Joe Sperlin, I take Drake May as your MVP.
Drake May, all right.
Ooh, I'm going to go with Sam Darnold because I just can't with the Patriots.
Okay.
That's fine.
Ron, I'm going to go with a dark horse. And I'm just going to say this guy, and I'll come to him later. But I'm going to go with Cooper Kupp. And there's a reason. Here's your another, April, we have another conspiracy theory coming on. All right, so, Tom, you can also wager on this. Now, here's 5 little fun prop bets.
Okay.
So, the MVP, when they interview him, who is his first shout out to? So, when he thanks someone, God or Jesus is the first choice at minus 135. His teammates is plus 100, and then they run into all these other lists.
The field, basically. Yeah.
Yes. And it's like the coaches and all that other stuff, but yeah. So
I'd
that
put
is
$20
something
on God.
Yeah. You can, there is something you can wager on right there. And of course, one of my favorites is starting the game. And April, you can put us in this. I am not aware of this young man's game, but Charlie Pugh is doing, is that right? Pugh?
P-H, Puth, Charlie Puth.
Puth, of course.
Of course.
Started as a YouTuber influencer. It's 119.5 seconds. Now, to tell you, when I was looking at this, they're really not for sure if he's even going to sing the national anthem, because he had a piano-only national anthem on YouTube, and it was 1 minute and 2 seconds.
So he didn't sing, he just played the piano.
He played the piano.
I'm going to quote the Wicked Witch of the West here and say, what a world. What a world.
I just go back, and Joe, I will never forget when Kelly Clarkson hit it exactly on the second. And they treated it as a lot of them treated it as a push.
So I'm going to go with quicker than the benchmark. I don't know if that's an under in this case.
That was an under.
Because his 2015, he is known for working with Wiz Khalifa on the song "See You Again," part of the Fast and Furious. So Fast, Furious, under. That is all.
I like it. You've convinced me.
Then comes to the coin toss, as many sportsbooks will say, one of the biggest bets in the Super Bowl.
Really?
59 Super Bowls. Tails have hit 31 times, heads 28. And they said it's amazing how every year tails never fails, and that is probably the most bet. But however,
not so fast.
22, 24 was heads. 23, 25 was tails. So doggone it. In 26, let's go heads.
I agree. They have catching up to do.
Yes.
Why not? I'm in.
And then here's where Cooper Kupp comes in. And I was explaining this to Ron.
Yeah.
Somehow there was a picture on social media through that there was a picture of Cooper Kupp supposedly during practice throwing a pass. So they have said the Seahawks have a Cooper Kupp pass in their playbook. So there's a bet that you can make. Number of players thrown a pass in the Super Bowl, 3 or more is plus 140. So you could bet $100 to win 140. So Cooper Kupp will be the guy. They'll keep that other fine receiver. They will make sure he doesn't. Cooper Kupp will have a lot of catches. Throw in a touchdown pass, a touchdown reception, and a Cooper Kupp long reverse, and there's Cooper Kupp MVP. Now, as I told Ron, That also could have been Cooper Kupp throwing a pass to someone at the beginning of practice. But anyways,
playing catch, warming up. Yeah,
it is the conspiracy season of the Super Bowl. So
absolutely,
I'm in.
All right, and then my favorite one, the winner. What color is the Gatorade dumped on the winning coach? Now, this guy said, I have reviewed Patriots and Seahawks game films. And I'm sitting there thinking, now, when would they dump Gatorade on them? And sure enough, since Seattle is the favorite, they said Seattle drinks orange Gatorade, Powerade, whatever you want to call it. Since they are the favorite, they are the top rated pick, and the Patriots are yellow. So if you think Seattle's going to win, bet on orange plus 225, Patriots plus 260. And then there was the year that the game ended suddenly and there was no Gatorade dumped until like 5 minutes after the game. And I think it was just water. And they gave that clear. So
You.
now,
yeah.
For those of you that have this online thing in Missouri, you can look on there and literally bet on any prop bet you want. The Westgate out in Las Vegas prints out a 53-page prop bet sheet. 53 pages.
Jeez.
So, unbelievable.
This is
unbelievable.
This is like the equivalent of the squares game you play at your house, except for degenerate gamblers. I mean, enthusiastic gambling hobbyists. That's what I meant.
As I tell this every year, I have been out for the Super Bowl 2 times in Las Vegas, and the biggest cheer ever, without a doubt, was the coin toss.
Yeah.
Oh my.
Everybody's still sort of sober-ish. So
yeah.
Because it's half of them are screaming, yes, they won a bet, and the other half says, oh, God, here we go. So,
Tom, I'm thinking of Darren McGavin in The Natural. Oh, you can bet on anything. Hits, balls, runs, strikes.
If he'd only see us now.
Ron, what was that legally now? What was that you sent? Like a $1.76 billion now.
This is going to be the largest. In fact, I can find that. This is going to be the largest amount bet on a Super Bowl. They're guessing in the history of organized gambling or just gambling in general. So yeah, it's getting silly, or I think it is silly at this point. Speaking of,
that line's behind us.
That line is, I think we've crossed that line. Speaking of silly, last night, Tom Mathis, the St. Louis Blues jumped to a 5-1 lead at Nashville. Well, in the NHL, that's a safe lead, right?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Not where your St. Louis Blues are involved.
No. Joe Vitale, early in the second period, about halfway through, said, I think this is the best game the Blues have played all year. And about 10 minutes later, everything had changed. And they ended up losing 6-5. It is probably the most frustrated I've been with the Blues team in a long, long time. So that was just disgusting.
Joe, I know we come to you for math usually. The last week, the Money Puck playoff odds for the Blues were at 1.1%. This week, they are at 0.2%.
So you're telling me there's a chance. Did those ever go into the negative?
That's about where we are right now. They're 27-9, 47 points. They're just a bad hockey team, Tom. You said in the text, trade everyone, and I've never really agreed with you more. Is there anyone that's safe, is the question.
I think there's a couple. You got Jake Neighbors. You got Snuggerud, Philip Broberg. That's about it. I don't know.
Stenberg, maybe.
Stenberg, but he's down in Springfield, so
that's true.
Don't include him right now. I mean, even Hofer at this point. I've had a lot of faith in him this year, but at some point you got to make a save too, and I don't blame it all on him. But at some point you got to come up with a save, so, get your team. And then everything changed when when Burnett took out Saros and brought in the backup. Monty never even thought about that, I guess. I mean, you getting just blitzed and you don't make a change. Maybe that would have done something for the team, but nothing.
No, nothing. And then the stat that came out after the game: time scoring 5 consecutive goals in a game this season. Blues 0, opponents 8.
Wow.
Tomorrow night is the last game before the Olympic break, and to quote Bob Uecker from Major League, thank God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just abysmal. And, it's a shame that Keith isn't here for this, because I know he's followed this for so long. Brendan Donnovan goes to the Seattle Mariners, including April. I'm not making this up. We get a guy named Gerangelo Sinjay. He pitches with both arms.
At the same time?
With 2 baseballs?
Asking for a friend.
That would be a neat trick. No, not at the same time, but they say that he can throw 95. Is it, Tom? It's 95 right-handed and 93 left-handed is what I saw.
I believe so. Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah.
Gosh, wow.
So he's got one of those gloves that fits either hand, and one of the things that I saw kind of having some fun with it is he his own left-handed one-out guy. Is he his own loogie? So if you have a tough lefty, he switches over and just goes lefty against a left-handed
Okay, now,
dude.
Ron, I'm going to give you this. I believe I know this rule. He cannot switch during a batter. Is that correct?
That is how I understand it, yes.
That is correct, yes. But,
wow.
They say he's going to focus on being a right-handed pitcher, but they still want him to keep practicing lefty. And I see it for that exact situation. You come up, you're in the 6th or 7th inning, you're still pitching, and a lefty comes up. You don't want to take him out yet, so you switch to the left arm.
Okay.
And, hello, Christian Yelich.
This is great. Okay. Can I bring in the right-handed guy in the 6th inning, take him out, and then bring the left-hander in the 8th?
That's a great question.
Well, I was just going to say, this changes the strategy. Like, this turns the strategy on its head for pitching. The pitching changes. The bullpen, the batting lineup. This is almost interesting enough to make me watch baseball.
Yeah, and it's oh dear. I did one of the things that is really fun to see on social media. If you search him, you can probably find it. Is they took pictures of him throwing both left and right and synced it up at the same time, and he's got kind of a similar delivery, so the ball comes out of both arms. So there's your simultaneous look, April. But so they get 2 outfielders, 2 draft picks, and a high-end pitching prospect, Tom. That's better than I expected for a return.
I think they did pretty good. The draft picks are going to be huge. I've read late this afternoon where that was the only reason they made it. Well, not the only reason, but that's what made them make the trade, is each team threw in the draft pick. So then they felt better about it. So, and I'm kind of excited. They now have 6 players in the top 100 for the MLB pipeline. Yeah, and now they just this off season they've got 4 guys that they've acquired that's in their Cardinal top 15. So they thought they brought some good bodies, good players into this, that an organization that needed them badly. So pretty excited about it. And to show something else, Tink Hence, he is the number 16th rated Cardinal prospect now. He was plummeted for a couple of years. Yes.
Plummeted. If we get anything out of him, I'm going to be happy. And Sinjay's up at number 4.
Yeah, he is.
So that's impressive stuff.
And with these draft picks, with these draft picks, it was announced today that they have a new director of amateur acquisitions, Zach Mortimer. He's going to be in charge of the draft. So he's got 6 picks in the top 86 in the MLB draft. So they got to come out with some players in that to, be coming along the next couple years.
Yeah, it's like I heard someone on the radio yesterday say the Cardinals are throwing darts, but the best way to be successful is to throw a lot of darts.
Yes, exactly.
which seems to be the strategy. And for our strategy, it's time for the last call, brought to you by Black Dog Consulting. Black Dog LLC is here to help the one truck owner and the small fleet owner to grow and prosper. Our buddy Dave has 37 years and 4 million plus miles of experience with flatbed, step deck, overdimensional dry vans, refrigerated units. He grew the last fleet he managed from 1 truck to 5 with yearly gross revenue of $3.7 million. If this is the growth you are looking for, call Dave at 417-217-9622, or you can email him at oldblackdog0523@gmail.com. Black Dog Consulting, helping you retrieve bigger profits. Joe Sperlin, what do you have for a last call?
This was just come out as we Florida State fan, Gus Malzahn announced his retirement at a relatively young age of 60, which is kind of interesting to me. I got to know of Gus Malzahn down in the early 90s as he was down at Arkansas High School at Shiloh Christian in Springdale. There was this guy who was in high school scoring all these points running the no huddle and was really good at it and had all these things. And it was like, no huddle in high school? No way. So I always got to enjoy listening. He was at the Arkansas Football Clinic every year there in the 90s when he was at those 2 places. He won, he's the only coach to win 100 games in high school and 100 games in college.
Wow.
I did not know that.
And he also never had a losing season in his 8 years at Auburn.
Wow.
Dang.
Huh.
Yeah. And the only other Auburn football coach who can make that claim is some guy named John Heisman, who died in 1936. And last season at Auburn was 1899.
That sounds so familiar, that name. I've heard
Heisman guy. So
Heisman guy. Okay.
I'm surprised Gus at age 60, but we can also probably, maybe not this year, but next year, expect him to see him on the SEC network. So
it was pronounced Heisman, but he changed it to Heisman. And I'm sorry, that was Joe Theismann at Notre Dame.
Yes.
Okay.
Nice.
All right. That is, and of course, Joe, I always think of his can't miss quarterback, Mitch Mustaine, down there at Springdale, who, oh boy, what a fascinating story that turned out to be.
And a guy named Rhett Lashley.
Yeah. Gee, whatever happened to kidding?
Yeah.
Tom, what do you have?
So I know, April, you said you're not invested in the Super Bowl. I'm obviously not invested in the Super Bowl. I will not be watching. But let me give you an alternative viewing choice Sunday, and that is the Waste Management Open on the PGA Tour. It is.
I you say the Puppy Bowl, but yes, okay, I'm open and listening.
This is quite possibly the funnest tournament on the PGA calendar, in my opinion. I know we got the majors. They're enjoyable, but they're not always fun. They're stressful. This tournament is fun. The fans get into it. That 16th stadium hole with the fans all around it, just cheering for it. Guys taking their shirts off after they hit a good shot. I mean, it's just a lot of fun. So maybe we might get a couple extra playoff holes, go a little bit farther into the Super Bowl time, and we can enjoy a good tournament on Sunday.
Yeah, folks, if you've never seen it, it's Happy Gilmore in real golf is what it is on the 16th. And if you've never seen a hole-in-one there, please go to YouTube and search hole-in-one 16 Waste Management, because they throw their beer in the air, Tom. It's just
yes, they do. It's absolutely nuts. It's It's not an ordinary golf tournament, not the polite golf, but for once in a while, it's not bad.
And also search Tiger Woods hole-in-one on that hole. That was like a young Tiger Woods. It was amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. And we have some friends that go and they say basically when they open the door, people like sprint, like physically run to get to the 16th. So April, what do you have?
Well, because, and I think more than one of you have classified me at some point in time as a classy dame and or broad. So
both.
My last call, you're like, what? Yes, no, maybe. My last call, Ron's just going to choose to drink rather than answer. Got it. Noted. I'm going to talk about baseball and bidets.
Not beignets, bidets.
Okay. I was going to say, what'd she say? Yeah.
Yes. Exactly. Not bidet. I'm not sure what you heard, but I'm talking about the toilet accessory.
The utility. Yes. Right.
Yes, utility. There we go. Exactly. So this just in, I was informed that Murakami agreed to a 2 week, that's the kind of contract under. Currently, I'm sorry for projecting, a 2-year, $34 million deal with the Chicago White Sox during the offseason. Is that extraordinary? Not for someone who is not following baseball and bidets, because this guy, as he was doing a walkthrough of the White Sox facilities, he noticed that they didn't have a bidet in the locker room. And unlike the rest of the world, the United States has been tragically slow at adopting the hygienity, the luxury, I don't know, I don't have one in my house, I'm from the country, of the bidet. Like 100% of households in Italy have them. More than 50% of households worldwide have bidets. They got a little bit of love in the U.S. During the toilet paper shortages of COVID times, but it's still not a thing that is very prevalent in the U.S. This baseball player, a huge home run hitter from the Japanese league, required this as an option. So the general manager said, that's something new, but we're going to put one in. All right, we can do that. So that's it. This is me pulling it full circle. The bidets, the baseball, the bada boom, bada bing.
I just wonder how many other teams had a guy send it to their GM and say, hey, if they're doing this,
Probably
boy. Oh boy.
Yeah.
How many football teams are going to get a bidet?
Oh dear.
Oh boy.
Oh dear.
Green M&Ms was a weird writer. This is just going to revolutionize all of the things.
Yeah. We have yet to mention a certain hockey TV show that we're not going to mention. So I'm just going to go into my last call, which is The Athletic came out with their listing of the 32nd NHL home rinks, and I think they're having a little fun with this because of the 3 times I've talked about the Olympic rink. Yeah. So they took a look at what are the top rinks. They ranked them on location, amenities, atmosphere, and affordability. Number 1 is Bell Center, the home of your Montreal Canadiens. Second is T-Mobile Arena. Everyone who has been to a game at T-Mobile Arena says you've got to go, Joe, because apparently they hired one of the Vegas people to come up with a pregame show, and they have a drum line, and they say get there early.
I've been there for a game. It's incredible. It's a Vegas event.
Wow. You're wondering about your St. Louis Blues, probably. Well, 32 teams in the National Hockey League. The Blues come in 15th, which is actually much better than they're playing. So at least we've got that going for us.
Did you look at the media ranking for the Blues, though?
No, I did not.
It was like 29th.
Joey Vitale's just getting harder and harder to listen to. And I will say this, having listened to a few games on the radio, the part of the simulcast that Joey does not get is when they have a replay and he's like, look here, or watch this. Yeah. And you're like, I'm on the radio, man. I can't. If you're wondering the worst places to go in the National Hockey League, and you remember, keep in mind, my lovely wife and I did go out to Arizona when they were playing in Mullet Arena. Yes, April, that's the real name. Mullet Arena.
Yes.
Bringing up the rear is Crypto.com Arena, which is the Kings. Is that right? The Kings? Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Huh.
The old Staples.
That's right, the old Staples Center. Key Bank Center, which is the Sabres, which that's not really a surprise. And then Canadian Tire Center, which just doesn't, I mean, that really sounds like a place you'd go for white walls. Canadian Tire Center, home of the Ottawa Senators. So at least the Blues are, holding their own in the middle of the pack there when it comes to going to a game.
I sold tires at Sears for a while, Crash. It sucked.
Very nice.
I didn't see that one coming.
Gotcha.
Nicely done. And so back to Major League, and that's why she's the best in the business, folks. On that note, thank you for putting up with us for another episode of the St. Louis Sportists Podcast.
And that wraps another episode of the St. Louis Sportists Podcast. Please like and subscribe to stay up to date on all the latest episodes. You can find these guys on all major podcast platforms. And thanks for listening.